Hey folks, JD here, and today we've got this, and it's with thanks to Nikki Lee for sending this to me. This is the Potensic D20. Alright then, okay, let's open this up and have a little look. Now as I'm opening this up, just to let you know, the app, you obviously usually you get your QR codes within the manual, you just scan them with your QR code reader, and then from there then it obviously takes you through to either one of the app stores, either Apple or Google, and then you can download your app. But you can actually get it directly from these QR codes on the lid, as well as it tells you the name of the app is Potensic. Now we will have a little look at that over the next day or so, and go into that in a bit more detail. Now, as you open her up, this is what you are then left with. Little quadcopter on the top, little accessory box. Oh, quite a lot of stuff is fitted into this little box here. Let's open this up and have a look. Right then. So, there we go, this is everything. So you get your manuals, you get your accessories, you get your quadcopter, you get your transmitter. So first of all, let's concentrate on looking at this quadcopter, and then we will jump into the transmitter and we'll go right the way through everything until we've got everything covered. So the plan for today is go through the unboxing, then hit up on the standard flight test, and then see exactly what she's like. I'll give you my thoughts and impressions as the week goes on, including giving you some more information like going over the app and ensuring that we have everything or as much as we possibly can cover. Now what I'm doing off camera is just trying to get this, oh there we are, off there. Now because I hate these foil little plastic things, they're very good for tying down something, but they're a nightmare for undoing. So there we go. Right then, so now finally we have got the quadcopter out of its little cardboard prison, and this is what we have. It looks quite stylish, but let's go over it and let's see exactly what we think of it. So right at the beginning, let's look at this lens. It's a 720p camera, 120 degree wide angle to it there. The lens itself is fixed. Yeah, fixed lens, you can't alter that whatsoever. So unfortunately that is the angle of view that you're going to get. Right above that is a screw. That makes up part of a couple of other screws in here in which you can lift the bottom off. If we concentrate on going over the top of the quad, we'll come to the underneath in a very short while. At the front we have these little eyes that just are very Bugs-esque. It makes it look a little bit insectoid. Then over the dome of its back you have the Potensic little logo, and then making your way directly to the back there, this is where the battery fits. Now this particular battery I haven't come across yet, so I'm guessing it's going to be in with the accessories. It usually is if it's not in the quadcopter as standard. So let's open up this package and see what we've got. So we have got, yep, there we go, we've got a battery in there. Let's open this up. This is a one battery pack by the look of it, and the battery inside here is just a very standard little battery there. We are looking at a 450 milliamp hour 3.7 volts. That then should fit directly into the battery bay in the back there, and then the little cable just attaches directly into the port, obviously giving your quadcopter enough voltage then hopefully to fly. Now as we're looking directly at the back, obviously I've got a little tie here which I will remove before the flight, but just to let you know the battery bay does look large enough in order for you to actually not have to fiddle with it too much. With these Nano quads I often find that the battery bay is a little bit too small, but this one actually looks as if it is actually okay. And with this little lip on the back end of the battery, that just ensures you can pull the battery back out without there being any issues. Now if we look directly on the underneath of the quad, this is where you've got all your circuitry on the bottom here, and all of your electronics. A little bit of breathing holes at the bottom there to ensure that when the electronics is obviously working, that's going to generate a little bit of heat. The battery itself is going to generate a bit of heat as well, and these little holes there hopefully just ensure that the quad can breathe a little bit as well. As for weight, this is most definitely under the 250 gram weight limit, but it feels really sturdy, feels really well built, and that's something that I notice quite easily. Now this total flying weight with the battery, so when we put the battery in there, which is just there, we're looking at a flying weight of 56 grams. So again, not one for high winds, one for a nice summer or spring day, but just gives you that nice little bit of weight to it as well. So it's not too light to fly away, but feels as if it's actually really well put together. If you have a little look, you can see that it is actually moulded really nicely. and that the moulds join very nice. Even this nice little industrial look to the underside here. Everything looks really neat, really well put together. You have, instead of having just the LEDs that flash, you have your whole the whole back end here of the propeller arms. They are red for the back, and then you have white for the front by the look of it. We will double check the colour when we're out flying. So this is what you have right out of the box. I like it. I like the feel of it. I like how it looks. It has taken on obviously a look of probably the Tello in its body form, as well as a couple of other quads we've seen the past couple of months with this industrial look. But to be fair, with these Nano quads, they all pretty much look the same. There's not really a great deal that they can do with them. So I'm hoping this is going to fly quite nicely. It feels quite nice. I like the feel of it. Now, coming on to these motors, we have 4 brushed motors here. Now, these particular propellers inside here are just push pin propellers. You can see, should you want to replace them, because you get a couple of spares in the accessory bag there, you have your letters, so you know which propellers go onto which motors. A, and then running diagonally, and B running the other diagonally as well. And that should just ensure you get the right propeller on the right motor, so that you are taking off and you won't have any issue like your quadcopter at full chat but not flying anywhere. Right then, okay, so that's just a little look at the quad. Feels quite nice. Now, there are 3 speed modes with this. Low speed gives you 18 kilometers an hour, which is roughly 11 miles per hour. Medium speed gives you 24 kilometers an hour, which is roughly 14 miles an hour. And high speed gives you 36 kilometers an hour, which is 22 miles an hour. Well, and to be precise, 22.9 miles an hour. As I mentioned, the camera is 720p and with a 120 degree wide angle lens. A couple of other features about it is that it has an out of distance alarm, low battery alarm, 3 speed modes, headless mode, altitude hold, a takeoff and landing button as well. So it is quite feature packed, and we'll be looking at those when we take this quad out a little bit later on in this video. Now for the transmitter. Now this transmitter looks like one that we've seen in the past. It's very bog standard, but as you know, I like my standard transmitters because they tend to work the best. Right, this is what you have. So once you take off that little strap to the front, this is pretty much your whole diagram layout of your transmitter. So you have your shutter for your photos at the top, then you have your video on the next left hand side. On the right, then you have altitude hold. Heading hold mode for headless mode. You have 1 key takeoff and 1 key landing. Don't forget, you have some nice little diagrams here as well, just to show you exactly what you have on the transmitter. Also, a couple of other things about it as well. You have your left and right analog sticks. Clearly, you have got altitude hold, as mentioned previously, just because the left analog stick is automatically centering. Little on and off button to the middle. Feels quite nice, actually. A lot of these buttons just tend to move around quite a lot. That feels quite sturdy. You have the Potensic little logo in the front there, and you have this little part here which should be for your phone to clip in, but we'll have a little look and see if there's an FPV boom included in this pack. A couple of other things as well. You've got your directional turning movements as well. You have got a couple of buttons here, so we'll see whether or not they are actually used or if these are null buttons, but we'll check that out when we go to fly. So there we go. That is pretty much your transmitter. Very, very bog standard. Now let's have a little look. You need 4 AA batteries in order to fly this, in order to power this transmitter. This transmitter does not allow USB charging, so you have got to ensure that your batteries are fully charged or shop bought before you take this out. Now, as for an FPV boom, what do we have in the way of that? Doesn't look like we do. I would have imagined that something would have fitted in the top there for my phone to actually clip in. Ah, there it is. The other side of me. The side that I couldn't see because all my kit is covering it. So there we go. So hopefully that is how it goes in. So it just clips in one side into the transmitter, a little bit like that, giving you, there we go, your clip for the front there where your phone fits. That's quite a wide angle that actually moves to. You've got quite a bit of movement there. So I will be using my Android phone to fly this, just because I have the option of using a larger phone there. So I'm going to be putting my Android one in there. That feels quite nice. As for sturdiness, it does move out quite easily, but it does lock in place. So you've got a couple of lips on the top and bottom of this clip here. That just ensures that when you do pop this in, it does actually click in until it clicks through all the way. So now I can't pull it out, feels quite sturdy. And this is spring loaded as well, and you have got a nice little bit of foam there just to ensure your phone won't scratch, but at the same time you've got the spring there, so you've got a nice little bit of tension behind it, so your phone isn't going to just fall out. Right then, that's the transmitter. So we've got your transmitter, we've got your quadcopter. Now inside here you've seen the battery, you've also got 4 spare propellers, some propeller guards, USB charger, as well as a nice little screwdriver and a motor holder for when you come to replace your propellers as well. So that's that. You've seen, there we are, you've got a little thank you card inside there, and you've got a manual as well, your operation guide, which takes you through in multiple languages every single thing that you could ever want to know about your quadcopter, including how to fly, controlling it, how to replace the propellers. Takes you through quite a lot. So if in doubt, have a read of this. I most certainly will be before I fly this. There we go. So all in all, you have quite a lot with this quad. Now then, with everything which we can see in front of us here, we have the accessory pack, we have the manual, we have the transmitter, we have the quadcopter, we have the FPV boom, which is currently fitted onto the transmitter as well. So with that, my friends, that's pretty much the unboxing done. Let's now get outside and fly this baby. Alright then folks, let's get this sorted. So it's important when you plug anything in, as soon as you plug it in, you return it to a flat level ground as soon as you possibly can, as quick as you can, because that is when the first part of the gyro starts to calibrate. And then, yeah, it does fit, look at that, beautiful. And now hopefully we can get some Wi-Fi on the go. So let's give this a little shot. Wi-Fi, there we go, perfect. So that is now connected. Then we can open up our new app, which is the Potensic app. And hopefully this is going to, okay, let's allow that. I wanted to have access to my, there we go. Okay, fine. Start, switch, lovely. So now we have got relay, which is good. Very, very basic looking app, which is exactly what we need. Just checking my surroundings, because I can't really see a lot, because this sun is so glaring. Right, okay, what I do need to do though, is I do need, before I do any of this, I need to get my screen recorder on the go. Because I switch between iOS and Android, I keep on forgetting that in iOS it's a hell of a lot easier to get screen captured. Okay, so there we go, that's all done. Let's move that bubble down to there a little bit. So far it's a very blurry screen, but that's what we're looking at, is it's directly underneath the quadcopter, which is just the landing pad. So what I'm going to do now is turn on my transmitter, up and down, single up and down to bind, all LEDs now solid. I should have actually turned on the transmitter before I connected the Wi-Fi, but unfortunately I forgot that. There we go. So let's try and see if we can calibrate this gyro and see exactly what we have. Okay, so both inwards to take off, that's no problem, that's good. And then calibrate it. The LEDs are flashing when I go. Come on, really? Oh, they're flashing now, both outwards by the look of it. Yeah, I can just see the LED reflection on the landing pad. There we go. LEDs to the back are red coloured because of the plastic, and LEDs to the front are white because, once again, because of the plastic housing. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just take my glasses off, and we're going to take her up. So using the one key takeoff on the back right, she takes off. She should climb to an altitude, which is exactly what she has done, and she has stopped. Now, this video is awful. Straight from the bat, didn't expect a lot. I gotta be honest, but I can see it's very laggy, very choppy, very changey. It's not something that I would class as any use whatsoever. It's pretty useless. But then again, with quadcopters like this, we come to expect it. Oh, do you know what? It's after having the past few weeks of just GPS quads, it really is nice just to get back to something that is really, really basic. And it doesn't get any more basic than this, folk. So let's just get some video on the record as I'm just standing up there and just floating around. Now there is altitude hold, but there's no there's no optical flow, there's no vision system, there is nothing with this. It is very, very bog standard, which is nice. It's nice to have that. I'm going to record some video as well. Now currently we're at an altitude of 4.8 meters. Let's take her up a little bit more. Usually there is a height limit of around 10. what are we at? 12.7 meters. So I would say that actually goes, as it goes above 10, there's no height limit here of 10 meters on this Nano quad, which is quite nice. You can't fault that, because usually 10 meters they stop. This is a now cruising altitude of 8.8 meters. We've got such a still day that I can just leave her there. And even though she is moving around because she only has altitude hold, oh, she is able. That was nice. That beep. Whoa, Mr. Seagull, you are getting very close. No, 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 I'm not a bug. I am most definitely a mechanical device. That beep that you heard was out of bounds beep, so it was just struggling to keep track of where the quadcopter was and keep signal. So therefore the transmitter just beeped, and you had the LED notifier in the middle was beeping as well. That's a really nice touch. It just then let me know that, oh, I've got to come down a bit. Let me see if it happens at any other height. Now, I was at about 9 meters when that happened, about 8.8, between 8.8 and 9 meters when that happened. And all I was doing was just floating like that. It is pulling over a little bit. I'm not too concerned at that though for the minute. We've got a slight breeze that is moving in the way of the breeze, so I'm just gonna counter correct to the right hand side slightly. That's nice. Okay, I'm going to try and keep this a little bit close to me. This isn't a distance quad, but at the same time, as it is a small quad, I want you to be able to see it. I don't want to be able to be talking to something that I can see and you can't. So I'm going to try and keep it as close to me as possible. So far, the movements are quite nice. I've lost FPV relay about 5 or 6 times and then reconnects once it comes over my head. So if you are after a small pocket quad for video, this is not the one for you. I'm going to try a couple of photos though, and see exactly how those go. So if I can bring this down in front of me, and then if I can keep this sort of, it's very difficult to control when you're wanting to do something with it and you're looking at it. So what I'm going to do is just bring it down there, hold it there for a minute. Now you can see this particular angle, because of the angle of the camera, I'm gonna have to go higher if I want to get me all in the picture, and higher again. And let's try, and even though these look terrible, let's try a couple of photos anyway. Yeah, nice little bit of fun. I imagine in sort of like a small backyard setting, if you haven't got any other houses around you, this would be quite a nice garden flyer. It's responding really well to my controls. I got no concern because of that distance beeper. I've got no issue either in taking her out a little way, more than I would any other Nano quad, just quite simply because as soon as I go a little bit too far, it beeps. I like that. There we go, beep beep. Let's find out where I am. Yeah, there we are, orientation, bring it back to me. There we are, FPV kicked back up, no problem. Bring her around to me again. The sun is glaring, so this is why I'm trying to stay away from the sun as much as possible. Okay, let's try a couple of speeds. So we should have 3 speed modes on here. Speed mode 3, by depressing the right analog stick, that gives you speed mode 3. So far we've been flying for just over 4.5 minutes. Because I was a bit late in getting the video recorded, and the video recording is showing 4:26. We've been up for about 4:40 at this point. Ooh, that's nice. And then back to me. I got to be careful. This seagull is liking the look of this. There we go. Speed mode 1. Haha, I really like that. The distance between where you are and where the quad is when you're in speed mode 1. It gives you an early warning beep, just as you're going over its boundary in speed mode 1. As you go over in speed mode 2 and speed mode 3, your boundary will increase. But it's nice to know that even if you are a learner, and even if you are beginning out, and you want to take very nice gentle movements in speed mode 1, if you go too far, this is going to tell you. Now that, to me, yeah, battery at 14%. So I'm going to stop the video recording just to ensure that we get it. 5 minutes and 21 I'm going to keep it going, and I'm going to keep it going close to me in speed mode 1 until the battery dies. Now we're at 11%. Just before we get an overall figure, I'd expect this to fly for no less than 8. Nano quads usually between 8 and 10 minutes. The battery is quite low capacity, so I'm expecting no less than 8 minutes. So far we're at 5 minutes and 49, and it looks like it's landing. Yeah, I have no throttle up whatsoever. It's landing. So that is... It's going to struggle a bit because of the grass here, but the motor should kick off. There we go. Now that's for a total time of 6:08. So there we go, 6 minutes and 8 seconds of that flying, which I've had other quadcopters which are in the same sort of ballpark. What I would expect for a quad of any time less than 8 minutes is I would expect there to be 2 batteries at least in the box. Now, considering this was just 1 battery in the box, I find that time to be quite shocking. Now, what I would like to have seen is a time of, say, 5.5, 6 minutes like we've had, but with at least 2 batteries. At least that way then you can guarantee that you're going to have a little bit of time. Let me just turn off, if you can't see what I'm doing, I'm just trying to turn off everything just to ensure I've got everything here. There we are, perfect. And so far, let me give you my pros of this. I enjoyed the flight. I thought the flight was great. As soon as I took off, I noticed that the camera is not usable. It's not even usable at all. The color correction is out. Obviously, I'm not going to dive into it too much. This is a toy grade quad. It's a nano quad at the same time. These are just fun flyers. There's no sort of mod cons to them. They are just seriously fun flyers. This one is extremely fun. 3 speed modes. She is nippy. She is darty. I gave you all the speed modes of the three speed modes, speed mode 1, 2 and 3 in the unboxing. So if you want to find out how fast it can go, then you can just go back a little bit and have a little look at that, because it's all in there. Now, these motors are nice and cool. All 4 of them are, yeah, they're very nice. So it's a nice balanced quad. Didn't have any issue whatsoever in its flight in correcting it. Thought it went very, very well indeed. Now, we have got a little breeze going in from the right to the left. This is the quadcopter that was moving in exactly the same pattern as that, so I just had to correct it slightly to the right just to bring her back. It was quite difficult to see the gyro calibration. I would have expected to have a beep out of it, but I could see very, very gently that these lights here were just reflecting off the back end of the landing pad. That's what let me know then that she was calibrated and ready to fly. I think all in all, it's a fun flyer. I think it's a little bit too expensive for what it is. I think if you want to be paying $49 for this, you should be at least having 2 batteries. That then takes you up into the 12-minute mark, which I think is pretty standard these days. Anything under that, I'm questioning it. Now, obviously, as this is a nano quad, we expect a bit less. I expect no less than 8 minutes. When you've got something like the Tello, which has got a lot more weight than this, and you've got a couple of other quads that have a slightly bit higher battery capacity, we're looking at a minimum of 8. This has given us just over 6 minutes, and that was 6 minutes to landing. So obviously I was a couple of minutes late in recording that video, so I reckon the whole flight of this, from the minute I took off and about half a minute in before I recorded to the minute that it was that it came down, was just under 7 minutes, about 6 minutes and 40 odd seconds, which isn't terrible, but it isn't great either, especially when you're paying as much as you are for this and you have 1 battery. Give us 2 batteries, give us 3 batteries for the same price, and you've got a lot longer in the air, and I think it's a bit more acceptable. Currently though, until either the battery is a higher capacity, because this capacity, you're only looking at 450 milliamp hour, 3.7 volts. I mean, 450 isn't really a lot. I was recording all the time, but I do require more battery life than that. I really do, because for a lot of people, including myself, it's a long walk to a place like this, and I don't just want to be having 5 minutes. I want to be having 10, 15, 20 minutes, and the only way you're going to get that with this, because of the small battery bay, is multiple batteries. So Potensic, if you are watching, if you are listening, I would recommend that you put more than 1 battery inside the pack. Don't give an option of up to 3 batteries, just give 3 batteries.
thus giving us a lot more time in the air. And obviously then your quad becomes a lot more, it moves ahead of a couple of others in the same sort of field, where you're having the same sort of size and weight and you're just having one battery in the quad. At least if you automatically supply 3 batteries and advertise the fact that you're now supplying 3 batteries, then this quad should become leaps and bounds ahead of others. Other than that, the battery is my main issue. Other than that, I think it's a pretty fun little quad. Do I recommend it? Not on this battery life, not at all. How about the transmitter? Well, the transmitter was lovely, absolutely beautiful, very basic, very modern at the same time, very slight, not very large. I like the fact that the FPV boom gives you so much room. This particular phone is a 6.1 inch phone, and that is beautiful, just cups it really nice. I found that it was very easy to see, it didn't have any issue with anything, with any sort of orientation or anything through the app. The app is very basic, but it's nice because it doesn't clutter the screen with everything. I like this transmitter. One of the features I really like about this quad is the distance. If you're just hovering there, it beeps to let you know, beep, I'm still up in the air. If you go further, too far, it beeps like we did. I really like that early warning system. I think more quads should learn from that. So there we are, my friends. All in all, a fun little quad, but until the battery life gets sorted, I can't wholeheartedly turn around and say I recommend it. There we are, my friends. I hope you've enjoyed. Thanks ever so much for watching and listening. I've been JD. You've been fantastic as always. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe and ring that bell too. Hello and welcome to all the new subscribers. I hope you're enjoying the channel. So until next time, my friends, happy flying.